Okay, 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 okay. Woo! All right. Hello. Yay. Hello. Hello, Mr. Fish. How are you? Hello. Okay, since you're here, mic check, audio check. How do I sound? Mic check, audio check. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check. Good. Audio check, audio check, audio check. Are we good? Sound good? All right. Video. Bing. We are live. All right. We good? Audio, video. Looks good. All right. Okay. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, episode 10. I think we're on the 10th episode today. Hello, I'm Ming Chao, Associate Teaching Professor at Tufts. Um, I think we got 3 streams left, including today. Yeah, we got 3 streams left. Yeah, 3 more episodes, including today. Yeah, so I'm gonna play a game right now. Gotta play a game. This is that you're gonna need to use the chat feature on Twitch for this. So far, it's almost, we've been here for almost 3 months. List one thing that you have learned so far this entire course. The one thing. List one thing. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things I'm sure you can list, but one thing that you've learned in this class. It could be anything. What is that? List one thing that you've learned in this course so far. List one thing. Not 10 things, one thing. Just one thing that comes to mind. How to brute, okay, that's a good one. How to brute force and wordless password. Bam, bam. That's a good one. Anyone else? What's another one? The one thing that you've learned. We got, ooh, hey, Panic House, SQL injection. What else? How data is transmitted. Oh, yes, how data, okay. Oh, cross-site scripting. How few people actually keep their software secure. That's a great one. IURB, yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Well played. Cross-site scripting. Come on, what else? What else? How few people actually keep their software secure. Oh my god. Oh, thanks for reminding me. Ooh, I need to do that survey. A very simple survey question I need to ask people. Reminder. Survey question. On Yeah. Dissecting packet with ooh. Dissecting packet with Python. Yay. That's fun. Yeah, Spot Ranger. Yeah. So we have Scapy, Python. Yes. Well, actually, ULIS packets as well too. So that's another topic. What else? Come on. What else have you learned? So far, so good. Quite a lot. Dissecting packet, how, SQL injection, password cracking, brute force. Anything else? I'll throw one in. Um, network sniffing. You done that. Web proxy usage to also packet. Oh yes. Hey 574CY, how are you? You can do network sniffing. That's a whole bunch of things that you can list. I'll throw another one out. Scanning, network reconnaissance, and map. That's one of my favorites. It's a very important skill to have too. What else? Think recent too. Think very recent. Web proxy. Oh yeah, that's so cool. Still. Anyone else? Hey Frog. Anyone else? What else have you learned? Take a few. Take another minute. Come on, someone chime in. What else have you learned? I mean, there's so much that you can think of. Like, you know, I said scanning and map. That's always fun. Yeah, I mean, have you guys ever done privilege escalation techniques? Ooh, we didn't do so much of that this year. Not so much in terms of privilege escalation. Not so much. We've done password cracking. We've done exploitation. We can put that in. Password cracking, we've done. All right. You played capture the flag, cross-site scripting, SQL injection, bad code eval. It's quite a lot that you've done so far. I mean, some of the answers that you put in chat are just fantastic. The one I'm actually surprised that no one mentions, very few people mentioned, is what we just did last week. We did static analysis, dynamic analysis. That's what we did last week. So you may be wondering, like, what's the point? What am I? Why am I asking this question? Why am I asking about what you've learned? Like, why? What's the point? Like, yeah, we've learned a lot so far in this course. There actually is a point to that question. There really is. Um, Everyone have learned something in this whole course, but everything that you have done and learned leads up to one final big topic that you absolutely need everything, and I mean everything that you have listed, that everyone have listed here. Packets, sniffing. Hey, I mean you're going to see privilege escalation as well too. SQL injection, brute forcing. Oh yeah, brute forcing. You're going to definitely see again. Everything that we have done in this class, in this course, over these weeks, over all these episodes, lead up to malware. Yeah, leads up to malicious software. Malicious malware is still a major crisis these days. Um, so if I started this course with malware, it wouldn't make any sense because you do need to understand everything, a lot of stuff before you actually get into how malware works. Um, because you're going to see packet, you're going to see scanning, you're going to see even brute forcing password cracking. You're going to see packet sending packets, little packet by way of Python. You need to know all those topics to really, really grasp malware. And this is the topic that is a culmination of everything that you've learned in this course. And so, yeah, malware is still a big problem these days. It is also misunderstood big time, especially when it comes to terminology. So what we're going to do today is the first thing that we're going to get out of the way. We need to understand the basic. We need to understand. We need to get the basic definitions of malware. Then today we're going to do one, two, three demonstrations of real malware. Yeah, we're gonna see real malware in action today. Starting with the not so sinister to the worst shit in the world. Um, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna see at least three demonstrations of malware. Um, and also, I think by the end of today is going to be um, a start of a conversation about opportunities that you have down the road. Because I hope you all understand that malware. I mean that this you barely have scratched the surface after taking this class. There is so much more out there that you can do and learn if you want to go deeper into a topic, and especially when it comes to malware. I'm not the resident expert on malware. Okay, so the first thing that we got to get out of the way first is let's get the basic definitions out of the way. Um, let's get the basic definitions out of the way. Okay, still malware's become a lot more sophisticated. Again, I'm a disclaimer, I'm not the malware expert here. But let's start with the basic definitions first. Okay, malware is a combination of two words: malicious software. Okay, malware is just really bad, malicious software. Now, the way I like to explain to people is malware is like organized crime. There are many families that do different things. Okay, there are many like families in organized crime that do different things, and there are many families of malware, including virus, worm, backdoor, Trojan horse, rootkit, and ransomware. Okay, they all have different behaviors and they all have different ways of working. However, don't do this. Don't interchange. Virus and worms are two damn different things. Viruses and rootkit are two different things. Okay? There are differences. Don't ever mix the difference between a virus and a worm. I mean, this is the one topic that really, really bothers me. Always does. Okay? A zombie, and I think we've all been a zombie at one point in our lives, literally, it's just an infected, a compromised computer. I love you was an old worm. Oh, yes, it was. I think I may mention that. A botnet is a network of infected machines. Um, and I mentioned, oh yeah, we talked about like something that just occurred to me. We talked about DDoS in this class. We already went through the distributed denial of service attack. You know, infected machines are used for DDoS attacks. So a network of an infected machine is a botnet. Okay, a bot herder or a bot master is the attacker who controls the botnet. Usually, and they could be anywhere in the world. Okay, CNC is infrastructure to control the malware in the botnet. So these are like the really, really, really basic definitions that I mean, I'm sure over the course may have mentioned botnet and CNC, but now here's a formal introduction. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's see the ones that we're going to look at for real today. We're going to look at virus for sure. I'm going to show you a backdoor and Trojan horse. Backdoor is my absolute favorite. Okay, backdoors are absolutely my absolute favorite. Okay, and I got a real one of a backdoor, a real one of a Trojan horse, and I have a harmless virus that I'm going to show today. Okay, so let's start off. What the hell? Okay, now we got the basic definitions out of the way. So what's the difference between a virus, a worm, a backdoor, a Trojan horse? Like, what's the difference? Okay, let's start off with a virus first. Let's understand how viruses work. Okay, so the idea of a computer virus is no different than that of a biological virus. Now, here's a fun question for each of you. What is currently the most famous biological virus in the world? You don't need to think hard. In the past, I played this game before, which is wrong answers only, don't mention the C word, but let's be real here. What's the most famous virus that we've had? Exactly. COVID. Okay. COVID is a is a very good example of a biological virus. How does it work? How does COVID work? How does COVID work? Seriously. You can how does it work? How do you get COVID? That's a related question. Reproduce itself, okay. It infects someone upon contact. At what 574CY said, you know, the hot tour, okay, exchange of contact. Yes, that's it. So, it spreads from person to person. All right, you spread by contact, by spitting, by hot tour, that kind. Exactly, it spread from person to person. Cough on something, spit on something, droplets, you name it. You're very familiar with how COVID works now. That's how exactly how not only a biological virus works, but a computer virus works. The exact same thing. There got to be there got to be some way of contacting, spreading. There got to be some way of contacting and spreading. But wait a minute, okay? There's another thing, okay? What kind of damage does COVID do? What kind of damage do COVID do? That's the second part. Okay. What's the infection? What gets infected? What gets damaged in COVID? I think some people argue. I mean, this is okay. Take more of your resource and copy more of itself. It does the copying. No. But in terms of damage, I heard it. But yeah, okay. So Bot Ranger says attacks. It affects the entire system. Bot Ranger said the respiratory system. So that's a big one. The other one I heard is also cardiovascular. But yeah, so it affects the entire system. So it damages like now at this point people are just saying, you know what, it just damages everything. But name like especially respiratory and cardiovascular system. So a virus needs a way of spreading, needs a way of contact. There need to be a way of spreading and contact, and there needs to be some payload of damage. Computer virus, same exact thing, same exact way. So a virus is think of a propagation and piggybacking. Okay? Propagating and piggybacking. Propagating by attaching itself to another file. A virus have so many different forms. It can be a script, an executable. It can be like a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet with macros. Um, Now, when it's propagating, the virus doesn't have to be an exact copy of itself. That makes it even more crazier these days, and that's really common now. So if you send an infected file to someone else, and that person executes the file, it infects everything in that person's system as well. Also, one other keynote which is interesting is virus do not already do not reinfect already infected file. Okay, like for example, if you currently, God forbid, if you have the COVID, if you have COVID now, or if you can't like if you have COVID right now, like you're not gonna get whole COVID again now at the same time. Like you can't get a double cold or a double flu. Like no, it's not. So here's how a virus really works. Biological, computer, doesn't matter. Wait on a trigger event, replicate, and of course, some sort of payload is executed. Now, okay, this is nice. So now you have a. I mean, you should have. Everyone should have a good understanding of viruses because everyone have received one. Have received one in the human body biologically. You know, in our lifetime, at least once. I would hope. I would imagine. So, okay. Now let's see a computer virus in action. And I have this computer virus from 2006. I did not write this. I did not write this virus. It was written by Professor Avi Kak at Purdue. Hello, Avi. It's called the flu virus. And you can have a copy of this. This is a safe virus. Yes, that's a thing. That is a safe virus. Hey, hey. Oops. Can I do that? Copy. Damn. The hell? Hold on. Uno momento, por favor. Why isn't pasting actually a thing? Oh. Oh, paste and go. Never mind. Hold on. I'm on a new machine right now. So, for some ungodly reason, copy and pasting. Nah. Yeah, very funny. Good one. No, I got a new machine, but copying from the desktop does not actually transfer to my iPad for some ungodly reason. I don't know why. So here's the source code of this foo virus. All right. This was written in 2006, and this is a safe virus. This virus was written in Perl. This entire virus is just 37 lines. Can you folks see? Twitch is acting weird again on my iPad. So this is a virus written in Perl. Now, just to let you know, for those of you who have never ever programmed in Perl before, Perl, Perl is like the second coming of Voodoo. It is the programming language that you can easily write spaghetti code. So this is a demonstration of how easy it is to write a self-replicating program. This virus will infect all files ending in with names ending in .foo in a directory in which you execute an infected file. If you send an infected file to someone else and they execute it, their .foo file will also be damaged as well. Okay, so all right. So now I am logged into Kali on my home network, and I have a copy of the foo virus here. And now I am going to make a few .foo files. So I'm going to do vim botranger24.foo. Hi. Vim. Okay, who else? Okay, who else? Okay, who else do I got? Got Bot Ranger Snoozer Kyle. Okay. So what we just do, I just created 5 external files. 5 files. Nice. I created 5 files. 574cy.foo, iherb3.foo, botranger24.foo, evilstupidtony.bar. There's already a foo virus here. And snoozerkyle.foo. Now, can you all see? Someone chime in. Someone write of something in the chat. Because I'm a little leery about this Twitch app on the iPad. Someone write something. I don't care what it is. Someone write something. But I want you to all take a look. Okay, hey Bot Ranger. Good. You're there. You're still there. Good. I want you all to take a visual snapshot of this. Hey Nico Chan. Hey Frog. Take a visual snapshot of what you are seeing. I want you all to take a visual snapshot. Take a visual snapshot of what you're seeing. This entire terminal screen. Yeah, take a visual snapshot of like everything that is in the terminal. Notice the permissions, notice the file sizes, notice the timestamp, even notice the colors. Notice, yeah, hey Theo. Notice, take a visual snapshot. If I do more evil stupid Tony.bar, hey, okay, so far, everything looks good so far. Now what I am going to do is I am going to execute foo virus. Now watch what happens. Hello from foo virus. This is a demonstration of how easy it is to write a self-replicating program, yada yada yada, all the way to all it does is to print out this message and comment out the code in .foo file. Okay. Now I'm going to clear the screen. I do an ls minus l again. Now you notice the difference. Notice the difference? Remember I told you to take a visual snapshot of that first screen. Compare your visual snapshot with what you see now. What's the difference? Well, it looks like evil stupid Tony.bar, there hasn't been any changes. But I see two notable changes. The permissions are very different for all the .foo files. The timestamp is also very different. It has also changed for even all the .foo files. One more thing. All the permissions are on. The other thing is, what about the file sizes of all the .foo files? Now, I'm going to go up again. I'm going to take a look at more snoozerkyle.foo. Nothing happened to Evil Stupid Tony because Evil Stupid Tony is a .bar file, not a .foo file. More iherb3.foo. Boom. Okay. Now, let's take a look at, if you want an analysis of how this virus works in Perl, yeah, here it is. For my yada yada yada. So first thing is lines numbers 23, 24, and 25. It just reads the entire file, the entire malware file in. Like it reads in all 37 lines of the malware. So, hey, it's hard-coded numbers, but it does its job. Now what it does on lines 26 to 37 is for each and every .foo file in your current working directory, open up that .foo file, get all the contents, plop in the foo virus code, and then comment out. Actually, it doesn't comment out. It actually changes the file permission to 777 then comment out like all the existing content, close it out, and there you go. So the real payload, the spreading and the execution happens in line 26 to 37. Oh yes, it's curse programming 101. Okay, there's not much to it. All it does, all the foo virus does is reading the copy of itself. Okay, for each and every .foo file, plop itself on there, and then just change the file permission, and then comment out any existing content. Okay, that's what it does. So now here we are again, and now you see a whole bunch of infected.foo file. But I'm not done yet. I'm not done. So I'm going to run theo. I'm going to create a new file called theo.foo, and we're going to call it surfing purple cloud. Then I'm going to say haka.foo. There. So now we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 .foo file. But 2 of them are not infected yet. Haka and theo.foo. Notice the file. Okay, we already did that. But now what I am going to do is I am going to execute and run. Can I do this? Of course not. You can't. It's not executable. But I can execute snoozer Kyle. Right? I can execute the. There's nothing wrong with me executing snoozer Kyle because that should be executable. Exactly. Now what? Notice what happens. More haka.foo. Hey, both line Hakua got actually commented up. And more theo.foo. There you go. And now the only person that did not, the only file that did not get infected were, first of all, evil stupid Tony.bar not infected at all because is a .bar file. But you also notice, also very important, let's see more botranger24.foo. And here's an example of you don't get infected a second time when you're already infected. There you go. But how is this going to replicate? But how is this actually going to replicate? Unless you're copying the executable file from one, nothing bad is going to happen. That's exactly how. Okay, netcoach_chan nailed the problem. How is this actually going to replicate? The only way you can replicate a virus is if you double click on it. There has to be some trigger action, some manual action in order to replicate. In this case, how I have been replicating the virus, is by actually running and executing the virus. Because the way I've been executing the virus, the spreading, is, as you remember, I have to execute, the second time around was run snoozer Kyle.foo because I already had the virus. And the first time I had to spread was running Perl foo virus.pl. The replication can only happen if there is some piggybacking action, some action, like double clicking on the file. Like there has to be some manual action. And that's the same thing in a biological virus as well. It's like you can't get COVID if you don't get any contact with anything. Okay? So there needs to be some trigger action for the virus to spread. Again, there needs to be some trigger action, something that needs to happen, like clicking on a file. Um, like clicking. That's the only way it can spread. Now, Neko underscore Chan, you said, unless copying executable file from one machine to another, nothing bad is going to happen. That's correct. What you just said is actually the definition of, you actually have two definitions here. Okay? If you want to spread, and you want to spread automagically or automated, no action, that's a worm. A worm, unlike a virus, works on its own, spreads on its own on a network. You don't need to double click on file. In order to if you're double clicking on file, that's a virus. Okay? So, here, a worm is self contained. Okay? There doesn't need to be any double clicking. It does not need to attach itself to another file. The worm just sends a copy of itself over a network. You may be wondering how. Anyone, you folks can write a worm. If you have an ounce of programming ability, you can write a worm. You know Python, you know Scapy, you already have it. You already have the ability to do so. The dumbest thing that you can do is just run it right in front. I mean, even the most dumbest thing that you can do will work, which is write a loop that goes through every single IP address and try to connect to that IP address. Okay? Viruses can infect a machine generally, while worms infect a network. Consuming, like, you gotta have a network for a worm to work. Duh. Now you may be wondering, like, how does a worm go from machine to machine on a network? Again, you've done that before. Remote commands like RSH, SSH, password cracking, using socket, you already done that. Alright? So that's how machines, like how worms work from hopping machine to machine on its own. Okay? But yes, generally speaking, unless you're like, nothing bad is going to happen if you don't click on anything. Okay? That's virus land. Alright? But worms work on their own. They just spread on their own, no double clicking on anything, nothing. It just sends a copy of itself over a network by itself. Yeah, how worms work? Generally, scanning. Select random IP addresses, send small packet to reduce suspicion, connect to vulnerable network services, exploit the vulnerability, and even open up shell. That's it. That's how worms work. Worms work on their own. Okay? They use packets as well. So, one of my favorite, the most famous worm of all time is the first one. Um, when was it? No, 1988. November 1988. Robert Tappan Morris. He was at that time a PhD student at Cornell. 99 lines of code took down the internet at that time. The idea was Robert Morris wrote a program that just connected to other computers, find one of several vulnerabilities. Oh yeah, we did vulnerabilities in this course. Copy itself to that second computer. The problem was there was an infinite loop in that code. Okay, it also exploited a sendmail bug. Now you may be wondering, it didn't select IP addresses at random. It would actually connect to different machines using .r host files, which is on every single machine at that time. We have that as well too now. It's called host file, called the host file. People would just look at that. Like if you're writing a worm now, just look at the R host, the host file, or even your connection to SSH. You know, do brute force password cracking, get into the machine, harvest more addresses on that remote computers, send to that. There you go. Overall, caused 10 to $100 million of damage at that time. 5,000 Unix machine. This was also the first conviction under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Robert Morris was sentenced to 3 years probation, but there was a happy ending to this, actually. In fact, Robert Morris is now a full professor at MIT, and a very famous one for obvious reasons. He's worked on Y Combinator, startups, so he does pretty well now. Does he want to talk about the Morris worm? I have no comments on that. I have no comments. Is it something that he's proud of? Again, I have no comments on that. So there's a happy ending to the story. But that was the first Morse worm. So wait a minute. Was I think it was Stacy 574CY said something along the lines of, hold on, I'm trying to look at the uh, 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 did you mention something about the I love you worm? I think you did. I'm not. I think you did. I'm trying to look at the. I'm trying to look at the. Yeah, I love you was an old worm. Yeah, yeah. I think. Hold on. See what we got. Okay, another old worm was Code Red, 2001. They exploited a bug in Microsoft IIS. IIS is Microsoft Web Server software. MS-01-33. All it did was probe a whole bunch of IPs for systems running IIS. And then just a face website with a statement hacked by the Chinese. And then, of course, after like 20 days later, after the attack had a trigger time for a DDoS attack, and yeah, it affected, second wave affected over like about 400,000 servers in 14 hours. Slammer, yeah, this was the ye good old days of worms and Microsoft insecurity. Slammer, um, random scanning worm, just infected most of the internet address space in 10 minutes. Buffer overflow bug in SQL Server. Hold on. Yeah, I love you, worm. There you go. Infected tens of. Okay, this was early 2000. This was 2000. 10 million Windows personal computers. Oh, this was an email attachment. Yeah, this was a worm. Oh, I had a love letter for you.text.vbs. At the time, Windows computers often hid the latter extension. Ew. Opening the attachment activates the Visual Basic script. The worm inflicts damage on the local machine. Overwriting random file, then copies itself to all the addresses in Windows address book used by Outlook, allowing to spread much faster than previous email worm. Damn. Do network require open ports in that? To spread on a network. I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Hold on. Open ports. Um, wait. Does the worm require open ports to spread in a network? I mean, yeah, let me take that back. Well, it gotta have some sort of open port to spread. What is it? You can't get a worm if you're not connected to the internet of some sort. Yeah, so yeah, I had to have some sort of open port of some sort. I mean, if you like, for example, if you're opening RSH or SSH, I mean, it gotta have port numbers right there. Spread. Ooh. IIS server. Hold on. IIS. That's 80 or 443. Still. So yeah, gotta have some sort of gotta have some sort of open port of somehow. I mean, RSH. Oh, yeah. Hold on. RSH is the insecure equivalent of SSH, which we all use now. Also, actually, yeah, you gotta have ports because even when you use a socket, I mean, you have to connect. If you're opening up a socket, it has to have two arguments: IP address and the port number. That port number can be anything. I mean, it could be like a small number, or it could be like one of the high range ones. So that's a good question, Frog. Yeah, I mean, it has to use some sort of not only IP address but also port as well. Connect to vulnerable services. Vulnerable network services will always have a port open of some sort. Okay, so the biggest difference between worm and virus is worm work on their own, no user interaction. Virus, got to be some sort of a user interaction. Got to have some sort of a user interaction for worms. Yeah, let's talk about my absolute favorite malware now. My absolute favorite one. Absolute favorite is the back door. Have we talked about backdoor in any way, shape, or form in this course? I might have mentioned it. Backdoor is my absolute favorite because the way I explain the back door is anyone can have a front door, but if anyone ever leave there, like if you have a house or a house or an apartment, everyone have a front door, and generally you leave that closed. But if there's a back door of any sort and it's open, forget it. All security mechanisms go out the window. Okay, so I gotta show this video obligatory. I have to show it again. Okay? Actually, this is the one. You can have all the best security in the world. I mean, that's a very good example of of like backdoor. All right, is you leave that open, that's it. Like it bypasses all the authentication mechanism. Bypasses everything. No matter how good your security is. Okay? Once you have a backdoor open to people, no need to log in, no like every security mechanism becomes defeated. And generally, when there's a backdoor, all you need to do is the IP address, port number, walk in. Use Netcat for that. My favorite piece of backdoor, and it's a real one, is called Teeny or Tiny. Tini. Teeny or Tiny is a very small backdoor, 3 kilobytes. Backdoor for Windows. That's it, 3 kilobyte. Coded in assembly, and it listens at port 7777. And gives no anyone like it gives anyone who connects to a remote, like anyone who connects to IP address at port 7777, you get in right away. Okay. Um and this is a Windows back again, this is a Windows back door. The website is ntsecurity.nu. The website no longer exists. Here it is. You have to go to the archive, the Internet Wayback Machine. Here it is. ntsecurity.nu. Download version 1.2. Teeny is a very simple backdoor, 3 kilobyte backdoor for Windows, coded in assembly, listens at port 7777, and gives anyone who connects a command prompt. Download the exe and run it. Okay, now let's take a look at the FAQs. I can connect to port 7777, but nothing happened. What wrong? You have to press enter once to get the prompt. It doesn't If it doesn't help, make sure you have the most recent version downloaded to you. So you can say, oh yeah, Tamwile is, oh, interesting, no source, no source, no source. So yes, you could say that a backdoor is basically a remote shell. There is no source to this. However, there's no source code. But remember, hold on. There is no source code. It's coded in assembly. So what does that mean? You know what that means is, despite the fact there's no like C code, it's code in assembly. You can reverse engineer it and you basically get the assembly code as is. So you would actually open um, Teeny in something like Ghidra or something, or Hexra, and you can get the assembly code like as is. Um, and I think you can still download it. Can you? Yeah, there you go. Actually, and if I do a save file onto my desktop. Watch what happens. Notice something. There is anti-malware built into a lot of web browsers now. And it says, this file contains a virus or malware. This file contains a virus or other malware that will harm your computer. You can search for an alternative, or for an alternative download source, or try again later. Remove the file. That's okay. Yeah, Neko Chan said object dumped it more than enough. Perfect. Yeah, you can just do no need to break it. Yeah, object dump. Perfect. That works too. Duh, for me. Again, it will be flagged by most. You know what? I should download it. Shit. Hold on. I should download it. I really, really should. I'm an idiot. My bad. Let me download it for you. Despite the fact it's malware, it's fine. Oh, it is. Now it's downloaded, and I'm just going to say allow to download. Perfect. There's a reason for it. Now, you may be wondering, like, how does this work? Can you run Teeny right now? Sure. Let me show you a video of this. Bing! All right. Stop. Stop. So I'm going to show you a video right now of Teeny in action. The back door when I had a Windows VM on my network. Actually, I'll use the full screen. So my attacking machine is a Mac OS. I am going to turn on the best operating system in the world, Windows 7, as a virtual machine. I'm going to log into the Windows 7 virtual machine. So there's a Windows 7 running. Windows 7 was the stuff. And on Windows 7 and on Internet Explorer, God rest his soul, I will go to an IP address that will download Teeny. Notice, of course, the website no longer exists, but Teeny.exe has been renamed to Fortnite. So I'm going to download Fortnite.zip from this website, and Fortnite.zip is actually going to be Teeny. Save it to my desktop, close it. Hey, buddy. All right, close all the tabs. I'm going to close it. Now, the next thing I got to do is to get I'm going to extract all. And I'm going to stop here, and you see that Fortnite.exe is an application of 3 kilobyte. Hey, teeny at 3 kilobyte. I'm going to double click and run it. That's it. I think I did. Now I'm going to run cmd.exe to get the IP address of this Windows 7 instance. And you can see that this IP address is 192.168.1.205. 192.168.1.205, this Windows 7 instance. Okay, so Teeny is now running. Nope, I'm gonna double click on it. There you go. I'm gonna run it. Nothing happens. Teeny.exe is being executed. That's it. I'm gonna close the window. Now all I'm going to do is netcat 192.168.1.205. The port number we already know solves as 4 sevens. Hit the enter key and now watch what happened. Oh, just nothing. Alright, I gotta hit the enter key again. Crap. Right? Hey! There you go. That's it. Now I'm going to run calc.exe. Bing! Didn't need to log in, no security, nothing. I'm now going to leave a text file onto the desktop. Just to prove that I broke in. And that, my friends, is a backdoor. And also it shows you how dangerous backdoors can be. So, does anyone remember the argument? This is still a story these days. Is what the law enforcement and government want backdoors installed on everything, including phones? Uh, I'm sure you heard, like, what is it? Like the FBI been asking Apple to install backdoors on every single iPhone. And so now you know how dangerous backdoors can be, because hey, anyone can have access. Once you install a backdoor, anyone can have access to it. You have no idea if the person if it's the good, the bad, or the ugly that actually access the backdoor. Not good. Backdoors bypass all security mechanisms. Backdoors bypasses all security mechanisms whatsoever. Now, I'm gonna take a quick break here. Now I think I've shown you a virus and I've shown you a real backdoor. That's teeny.exe. Hey, here it is, TeenyX3 kilobytes. So, tools. One of the tools that you have to know now is one of my favorites is Virus Total. Now I talked a little bit about Virus Total when I finally revealed the honeypot that we worked on in lab number 3. VirusTotal.com. I'm going to formally introduce you to VirusTotal now. VirusTotal is a service. VirusTotal.com is the website. There's also libraries, command line tools that you can build. All is such a beautiful tool. It's over a decade old and it's so cool and so useful even up to this day. I'm not 100% sure. In fact, the video, it's so funny that you brought this up, Haka. I'm not even sure if the videos are even out yet. Yeah. Anyway, Virus Total, what it is a service that allows you to upload any file that you want. EXE, Word document, PCAPs, yeah, even PCAP, PDF, pictures, anything. You can upload anything, and Virus Total will analyze it for if it contains malware or not, and other breaches. Okay, really? Huh. Okay, I'll I'll make a note of that. So how Virus Total works is this. The website still works the same way, very simple. The only difference now is the maximum upload size is 650 megabytes. 10 years ago, maximum file upload size was 64 megabytes. Hence why I always kept my PCAP sizes at 64 megabytes. So it can be uploaded to Virus Total. Um, if you recall the honeypot that I set up for this course, lab number 3, everything that got sent, like downloaded to the honeypot, pictures, file, everything gets sent to Virus Total. So how Virus Total works is this. You choose a file. In this case, I'm going to choose teeny.exe, upload it, boom, there it is. Now, here is the result. How you read the result is very simple. The first thing that you got to notice is the number at the upper left corner. In this case, it's 63. It means 63 out of 72 security vendors, namely AV, antivirus, anti-malware engine, detected teeny.exe as malware. That's a lot. 63 out of 72. That's like, isn't that like over 80? 87.5% of anti-malware, antivirus engines detected teeny.exe as malware. So take a look. All these AV vendors have said this is malware. Google. Of course, you may be interested who didn't catch this. Baidu, Yandex, CMC, Zoner, Bitdefender. I've never heard of this one. Microsoft on here? Oh, yeah. Yep, Microsoft called us our Win32 tiny.b backdoor. There it is. Yep. Now, that's the detection. So, look at 87.5% of anti-malware vendors called this a malware. It's malware. Seriously, any number that's greater than one, is greater than 0 is malware. Go to details. You can see the basic properties of the teeny.exe. You can see all the checksums, what kind of a file this is, in this case a Win32 executable portable execution environment, the file size, the creation time, first seen in the wild, first submission, last analysis, we've got all the date. People have uploaded this file at many different names, including td.exe, 7313.exe, test.exe.exe. List goes on and on and on and on and on. Portable executable information, Intel 386 or below. It uses WinSock 32, kernel 32 from the Windows API library. You can also see relationships to other files, where this has been used, IP addresses that have used this, community details. Oh yeah, lots of detail. So VirusTotal analyzes your stuff for malware. That's it. That VirusTotal is your friend. It is such a beautiful tool. It's a wonderful tool, very easy to use. You can even write your own programs using VirusTotal. And yeah, you're going to use this, especially not only for the final lab of this course, but also for basically anything that you do. So if you ever receive a PDF or Microsoft Word document that looks really sus, upload it to here. But here is a warning, a very important warning for each and every one of you. Whatever you upload, whatever you upload is going to be made public. So if you receive data from confidential information from like company stuff, don't don't upload it to VirusTotal. Just don't, because like anything that you upload will be shared to the public, to the security community for analysis. Okay, so VirusTotal is your friend. Also now, in seeing these results here, you notice that a whole bunch of anti-malware engine did not even detect this. This also gets into something I do, like a public service announcement of sort, is antivirus, anti-malware is bullshit. I have not used antivirus or anti-malware for over a decade. In fact, does anyone want to take a guess how antivirus, anti-malware work? How does it work? If you had to write your own antivirus, anti-malware engine, what did you have to do? Like, what do you think? How do you think they work? For the longest time, AV, antivirus, anti-malware. Anyone want to take a guess? You can write one. You can probably guess. Like, how would you build a rudimentary antivirus, anti-malware engine? That's it, signature detection. For years has always been signature detection. The thing about antivirus, anti-malware, it will flag stuff that is known. But unknown stuff, forget it. It may use AI or ML to detect stuff. The basic one just use say signature detection. Yeah, But what is even worse is this, and this is why I say antivirus. And this was the final nail in the coffin when I realized that. Then I mean, I've said antivirus has been bullshit for years, but the final nail in the coffin is antivirus, anti-malware. The irony is that they're some of the most insecure software piece of garbage ever written. In fact, things have gotten so bad. Has anyone ever heard of Norton antivirus? Norton antivirus. The more recent one now mines cryptocurrency. Can't make this shit up. Here it is. Norton 360 antivirus mine cryptocurrency. Really? The fuck? Kid you not. There it is. It's so big. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Why? Like, why? I remember I was on an internal mailing list, and it's like, if people were just like, "You fucking kidding me?" Well, there it is. And now what? It doesn't even. They don't even take it anymore. Oh boy. Hey, at least even Norton actually admits it's like called the Norton crypto. Jesus. This was the final nail in the coffin for me. All right, the final lab in this class, in this security class, is a malware analysis lab. A real analysis. The final lab of this course is you're going to work with you're going to analyze real malware. Really? Yep. You're going to be given a live piece of malware to analyze. Yep. Now, if you have an Android phone, you don't want to actually upload this to the phone. Just don't. So why in the world is Android malware so prevalent? That's going to be an in-person conversation because I have some unkind words. Android malware analysis works like this. In fact, I'll do the sample from last spring. So, yep, you're going to download and unzip the following zip packet containing the formula APK file. Okay. So, what you do is this. I am going to open up, go to my desktop right now. Okay, I got it. Sample. Okay. So this is from last spring. This is a sample from last spring. The first thing that you do is want to unzip this. Now you got sample.apk. Alright, now you got sample.apk. What do you do next? First thing is go to virustotal.com. Choose a file. Upload the APK and see what happened, and ooh. Graphene OS is the same thing. Okay? Graphene, you can do this on any operating system. So this looks like, oof. Any live OS is not a good idea, no. Or you can use, set up like a virtual machine, or set up a Docker container. You can use a Docker container too. That's the safest way you can do the analysis. I'm doing it right now. I'm raw dogging. I'm on my Mac right now. But yeah, if you actually have a lot, if you're actually really afraid, and by the way, if to do the real way to do Android, to do malware analysis of any sort, use a virtual machine on your computer or Docker container. Do it inside of a Docker container. Don't do what I'm doing. But because of time, I'm gonna do it, quote unquote, raw dog into my Mac. Okay, fake app, notify, Trojan, ooh. Go to details. You can see it's an APK file. Not good. Fuck. You can see a lot of Android information, and hey, anyone want to take a guess what this piece of malware is? Should be very telling. For Android analysis, is installing even required? Well, that's the thing. Installing is not even required. All you just need to do is static analysis. File permission, all the permissions of the app. Why the hell does this app need like Wi-Fi state? Ooh, look at all the activities and stuff. Downloading. Hey, this looks kind of sus already. Strings. Interesting. All right. The next thing that you want to do is make sure you have Java installed on your whatever your system is. So Java minus version. Okay. And then you want to install and use something called APK tool. APK tool, go to apktool.org, is a tool for reverse engineering Android APK files. Can you install it on a Mac or Homebrew? The answer is yes. But the caveat is you better make sure that you have Java installed. I have OpenJDK. Who install APK tool? Watch what happens. And now I go to my desktop. Okay, I got APK tool installed. APK tool. APK tool is a place to reverse engineer Android APK files. Okay. Smiley is essentially assembly code for Java and Android. So now what you do is let's actually run APK tool disassemble sample.apk. Watch what happens. Unzipping is not going to work because it got to reverse it. It actually got to decompile all like the files into Smiley. Also, in fact, the most important thing is now you notice a sample directory got created. And one of the things that APK tool does is actually rebuild the entire Android manifest file. The Android manifest file is the bill of materials, all the details about the app, including like permissions required, list goes on. Anyone ever download stuff from Google Play Store and you see permissions? I hope you read about file permissions, like the permissions of the app. It's all generated from the Android manifest file. As you can see, this app actually needs Wi-Fi, GPS, find location, Bluetooth, and internet. Oh, this looks sus. This looks really sus. All the entry classes, you name it. Now I'm inside the sample folder and you can see the original Android manifest file that did not get rebuilt. The two most important folders are RES and Smiley. Smiley, think of it as the assembly code. You have to go through the entire structure. More r.smiley. And you have to find anything source, like strings, hard-coded credentials. You're going to look for hard-coded credentials, you name it. Let's go all the way back up. So what you want to do is, I mean, there's like hundreds of thousands, maybe even thousands of files. I mean, the Smiley folder is like 35.7. grep is your friend. Grep is your friend. I mean, that's like static analysis right there. Just run grep to see if there's any like HTTP strings or anything. But the second most important, like the other important folder is resources. Go into the res folder And this is where you will find things like strings and all the icons and pictures used for this app. So if I go to CD values, here it is, more strings.xml. And these are all the strings that are in the app. There's a lookup table. A lot of interesting stuff in strings. Okay. Now also, you actually open up your Finder, and then you go to the drawables. That's where all your icons are. Check this out. Screens, pictures, there you go. I think this one looks pretty sus. That looks really sus. This logo. That's that's not Among Us. So obviously this looks like, I think you can deduce very quickly, this is a fake Among Us app. Not good. Unfortunately, malware is very prevalent on Android for very good reasons. Long story for another for next week. Longer story for another for next week. But this is Android malware analysis 101. Uh, one last thing before we go. I want to let everyone know is if you're interested in malware and malware analysis, highly recommend you check out malwareunicorn.org. Malware Unicorn, Amanda Rousseau, world class and world famous um, practitioner, expert on malware and also reverse engineering. Yeah, it's a fake imposter, so yeah, it's a real fake one. It's a real fake. Uh, Malware Unicorn, and she's a friend of ours, does a lot of work in malware reverse engineering, and she has a bunch of free courses on reverse engineering. The one that you should really look at first is Reverse Engineering 101. This workshop provides a fundamental reverse engineering Windows malware using hands-on experience with reverse engineering tools and techniques. This is the workshop, but I just want to briefly gloss over this for a very good reason. Take a look. What is reverse engineering? Basically, what you're doing for the final lab of this course. Take apart something. Think outside the box. Analysis flow for malware analysis. Baseline environment, triage, static analysis. What we did last. Get a sense of where everything is before debugging. Dynamic analysis to determine the behavior that cannot be understood by static analysis. You've heard of those terms before. Environment setup, she uses VirtualBox and VMs. And now if you want to learn more about Windows PE programs and C, assembly, typical attack flow. This should be a little bit familiar. Reconnaissance, exploitation, infiltration, internal reconnaissance, command and control, exfiltration and purge. Here's more definitions. Virus is a code that propagates across system with user intervention. A worm is code that self-propagates, replicates across the system without requiring user intervention. Bot, Trojan, backdoor, my favorite, what we talked about today, enables a remote attacker to have access or send commands to a compromised computer. Yeah. So this is one of many free opportunities out there to hone your skills because you barely scratch the surface. Even after you take this course, you barely have scratched the surface. There's so much to learn out there. And this will also be the final in December, the final stream. Um, this is a preview of the final stream that we're going to do in December. Where do you go from here? Yeah. Is it mainly for Mac or general population, or general and applicable for Windows? Um, you mean the TAMWILE? Are you talking about this Reverse Engineering 101 course? No, I mean, if you're talking about this Reverse Engineering 101 course, ideally you want to have Well, things have changed. You really want to have Linux or Windows because, well, Mac OS VirtualBox, unless you have one of those old Intel ones, fine. But the idea of reverse engineering, um, that's generally system platform independent. APK tool is platform independent because it uses Java. Yeah. So, yeah, that is all for today. We are over time for sure. Folks, oh, the whole website. The whole website, 2019 and prior was everything, but of course things changed. Now it's unfortunately Macs are M1 and it's not, VirtualBox was never good anyway. But yeah, it's ideally for that stuff. You can try it on Mac OS, but the virtual machines don't work for Macs because of architecture differences. All right, folks, next week, forensics. Take care, everyone. Yeah.